The 1990s were supposed to be a quiet decade for muscle cars. The golden era was over. Emissions were strict. Insurance was brutal. And everyone said American muscle was dead. But that story was wrong. Because while nobody was paying attention, Detroit was building monsters. Cars that didn't scream for attention. Cars that looked ordinary. But when the light turned green, they destroyed everything in their path. These were not supercars. They were muscle cars, heavy, loud, and brutally fast over the quarter mile. Today, we're counting down the 10 fastest 1990s muscle cars over the quarter mile. Cars that shocked racers, embarrassed imports, and proved that American power never really died. Let's start with a car that looked harmless. The Chevrolet Camaro Z28 of the early 1990s didn't look like a drag strip king. But under the hood was the legendary LT1 V8. This engine brought real power back to the streets. With over 275 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and aggressive gearing, the Z28 could rip through the quarter mile in the low 14-second range. At a time when many cars struggled to even break 15 seconds, the Z28 was already hunting. But Chevrolet wasn't done. The Camaro SS took things further. With suspension upgrades, better tires, and more aggressive tuning, the SS pushed deeper into the 13-second territory. For a factory-built car in the 1990s, that was serious speed. Then came Ford's response. The Mustang GT of the 1990s was raw, loud, and unapologetic. Powered by the 5.0-liter V8 early in the decade, and later the 4.6-liter modular V8, the Mustang GT wasn't refined. It was violent. Quarter-mile times hovered in the mid-14s stock, but with minimal modifications, these cars dominated drag strips across America. But Ford had a darker weapon, the Mustang SVT Cobra. This was not your average Mustang. Hand-built engines, better airflow, higher rev limits. The Cobra could tear through the quarter mile in the high 13-second range straight from the factory. And the 1999 and 2001 Cobras only pushed things further, delivering speed that forced Chevy to pay attention. Then there was Pontiac. Pontiac didn't just want speed, they wanted shock value. The Pontiac Firebird formula and Trans Am were aerodynamic weapons. Low nose, wide stance, and V8 power that pulled hard at high speeds. With the LT1 and later LS1 engines, these cars were monsters off the line. The LS1-powered Firebird Trans Am was capable of quarter-mile runs in the low 13 seconds. That was Corvette territory, in a car with back seats. But one Pontiac stood above them all. The Firebird Trans Am WS6. With functional ram air, aggressive gearing, and lightweight components, the WS6 could dip into the high 12-second range in perfect conditions. For a factory muscle car in the 1990s, that was borderline insane. Then came Dodge, and Dodge didn't care about subtlety. The Dodge Viper wasn't just fast, it was dangerous. An 8.0-liter V10. No traction control, no forgiveness. The Viper didn't launch gently. It exploded off the line. Quarter-mile times? Low 12 seconds. Sometimes even faster. This wasn't a car you raced casually. This was a car that demanded respect. And if you didn't give it that respect, it punished you. But Dodge had another sleeper. The Dodge Ram SRT-10 may not have looked like a muscle car, but it ran the quarter mile like one. Using Viper power in a pickup truck, it shocked drag strips across the country. Then there was Chevrolet's ultimate statement, the Chevrolet Corvette C4 ZR1. Nicknamed the King of the Hill, this car didn't just dominate muscle cars, it embarrassed exotics. With a Lotus-designed DOHC V8 producing over 375 horsepower, the ZR1 could run the quarter mile in the low 12 seconds. In the early 1990s, that was terrifying. Ferraris struggled to keep up. Lamborghinis were nervous, and American muscle was officially back. But the crown jewel of the decade belonged to a car few people expected: the Chevrolet Corvette C5. Introduced in the late 1990s, the C5 changed everything. Lighter chassis, better weight distribution, and the LS1 engine, one of the greatest V8s ever built. The C5 Corvette could run the quarter mile in the low 12 seconds right off the showroom floor. With perfect launches, some dipped into the high 11s. That wasn't muscle car fast. That was supercar fast. Then there was the true sleeper, the Chevrolet Impala SS Big. Heavy, blacked out. Nobody expected this car to be fast, but under the hood was an LT1 V8. And with massive torque, the Impala SS surprised everyone at the drag strip, running mid-14-second quarter miles. Impressive for a full-size sedan. And finally, we come to the car that defined the end of the decade. The 1999 Ford Mustang SVT Cobra R. This wasn't a street car. It was a factory-built weapon. No back seats, no radio, no compromises. Powered by a 5.4-liter V8, producing 385 horsepower, the Cobra R destroyed the quarter mile in the low 12-second range. It was loud, rare, and unstoppable. The 1990s muscle car era wasn't about nostalgia. It wasn't about chrome or carburetors. It was about proving something. That American horsepower could adapt. That raw power still mattered. And that the quarter mile would always be the ultimate test. These cars didn't rely on computers or driver aids. They relied on torque, gears, and courage. And even today, when you line them up at the drag strip, they still command respect. Because speed fades, technology changes, but muscle never forgets where it came from.